Autobots, roll out!
I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members. Thank you. It's continued support like yours that keeps this channel growing. And if you haven't already, please consider joining today. Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Magic Square MSO2 Light of Peace, and I love this toy. Released in the fall of 2022, this figure was available online from multiple online retailers. I got mine from magicsquare.com for approximately $100. Now, as of the time of this recording, all of the websites that I saw that were carrying him are currently out of stock, but a couple of the websites are saying they will be restocking soon, so if you're interested in the figure, just keep an eye out. And what this is an absolutely fantastic figure. So if you remember my last episode where I did the Light of Freedom, the little Legends class Optimus Prime, which I thought was an absolute amazing little figure, what Light of Peace is a masterpiece scale version of this figure right here. So I absolutely had to have it. It's an absolutely fantastic figure. Now, granted, it has not been a perfect figure. There's been a couple of things that have been said on this that I cannot argue. Some I can argue, some I can't. I'm going to go over those in just a moment. But first, let's start with the packaging. Let's take a look at this box, which is really cool. We've got Magic Square logo right there. Extraterrestrial mechanical life form, changes from heavy duty truck and robot to robot and back. And we've got artwork right there of, I'm just going to start calling him Optimus Prime because that's just a force of habit. Very cool artwork of Prime right there in what appears to be a war-torn city. Looks like maybe, or a futuristic city, or a space city. I'm not sure. MSO2 Light of Peace. Some cool artwork here on the side. Same thing over here on the other side. You can see Cybertron and stuff back there. And then along the back, this is not a product shot. This is not a picture. This is artwork of Prime in his truck mode. And you've got his tech specs right there. So that's about it for the packaging. Now, he comes in a tray with some accessories. So let's come in close and let's take a look at those. The truck mode right here measures approximately 7 inches long. It's about 3 inches tall at the top of the cab right here, about 4 if you go to the top of the smokestacks right there. And like I said, he did come with some accessories. So, of course, he comes with a sheet of instructions. We get a card right there. And again, like the Magic Square cards, this is pretty thick plastic. It almost feels like a credit card. And you got some cool artwork of Light of Peace right there. And then along the back, you've got his tech specs. He comes with an Energon Axe, which we'll see more in robot mode. This one, actually, let me bring this back. This opens up in a clam. So what this is going to do is this is going to separate. And then you're going to put that into the hand, and then you put this part over the rest of the hand. Now, this is actually 3 pieces. So this is one piece. This ball part is another piece. And then the axe part is a third piece that's actually slotted in right there into this bottom ball right here. This was not slotted in for me all the way. So the axe was off center. The ball wouldn't close. And trying to get that all the way through was super scary. I was really afraid that I was going to break it in the process. Fortunately, it did not break. But yeah, just something to look out for. So that was the axe. He comes with his ion blaster, really nice. And just like with the Legends figure, this one, the barrel comes off for reasons unknown, but there it is. That's the rifle right there. And then he comes with 2 fifth wheel attachments. This one right here will accommodate the trailer for MP44 if you have that figure. I don't, so I don't really get to use this one. And then he comes with another one, which is the one he has on right now, which does accommodate for the trailer for MP10. So we'll go ahead and bring that one in right now. And it's got the dual slots right there with the dual tabs. And there you go. There is Light of Peace carrying the trailer or pulling the trailer for MP10, which is just stunning. This is absolutely beautiful, stunning right there. Check that out. Take this off for now. And then one more thing that mine came with, and this is something that started kind of with later shipments. This was not this did not come out with the first run of shipments, but later shipments started adding replacement smokestacks. And so that's the first, yeah, let's call it a QC issue. It's not so much a QC issue in how the figure is, the quality of the figure, how it's made, but more in how it's packaged. In that tray that it comes with, it puts a lot of pressure on these. And so a lot of people, myself included, received Prime with one of those smokestacks broken. So they were kind enough to send already. Most of the people that got, from most everybody's had replacements sent to them free of charge. The figures that did not come with the smokestacks had smokestacks sent to them later on. And my figure came with the smokestacks already, and sure enough, one of them was broken, and I just replaced it, and then I still have one more extra just in case I ever need that. Now, there has been a lot of talk about the QC when it comes to the mirrors and the doors and the way that the mirrors are not steady. They just kind of flap open and close. That's actually not a QC issue. That's really more part of the design. The way these are designed, these mirrors end in pins that do a 90-degree angle. So you got the mirror, then you got a pin that goes in, and then the top one 90s up, the bottom one 90s down. And then they're held by these pockets that are molded into the windows themselves. And those pockets they have enough room to accommodate for the pin, but there isn't really any friction there. They kind of like, the pins are kind of swimming in there, for lack of a better term. So it's not really a QC issue. It's more of a design, the way that the mirror just sits into the pockets that they were given just doesn't offer any friction. So these mirrors tend to just kind of flap. I got a flap on mine. But yeah, so the mirrors do tend to flap open and close and whatnot. Again, not a QC issue. Now, I easily fixed mine by taking a little bit of clear nail polish and just dabbing it right there on the top of that one. Same thing on the other side. And as you can see, my mirrors are not flapping around. I can push it in, it stays in. I can bring it out, it stays out, and they're not flapping. So again, I don't think that's a QC issue. I wouldn't count that as a QC issue. I would count that more of a design thing. Now, I did have a QC issue with this door, and this is why it's taken me this long to get to this figure. So we'll bring this one in close. We'll see if I can focus in on that. And you'll notice that the top of my door right here is actually cracked. When they assembled it, when they pushed that window into place, they actually cracked the top of that the window frame. So, I took pictures of that and I sent it in, and they say, yeah, no problem, we'll take care of it. And they sent me a whole nother piece. This whole piece right here this is the old piece. They sent me a whole nother one of these, and this is just mushroom peg right there. Snapped off the old one, snapped in the new one, figure's fixed. So there you go. So that was a QC issue, but at least Magic Square has been really, really good about taking care of. Their customer service has been above and beyond, and they've been really good about taking care of it. And then finally, I am going to call this a QC issue. This smokestack right here does not like to stay up in the extended, so these go down for robot mode, they extend out for truck mode. This one works just fine. This one has a tendency to just fall in, and I've had to dab clear nail polish into this one several times to get it to stick. In fact, right before I started shooting this, I had to do that again. So it's just something that I'm going to have to stay on top of. And I see, it seems like I didn't do a very good job transforming him in the truck mode before I started. I got panels that are not lined up properly for mine. That one's fixed. I cannot figure out why this one. I can't get this one, and this is on me. It's just because I just transformed them right before I start shooting it. But anyway, there he is in truck mode. Absolutely beautiful, stunning truck mode. Like I said, about 7 inches long. He's masterpiece scale. You saw him with the trailer. Absolutely stunning. And this is, again, it's pretty much an upscaled version of that Legends one that we looked at last week. There's a couple of tweaks. There's a couple of improvement things that are done a little different. Like, for example, he doesn't come with a bunch of hands. He doesn't need them. He's got articulated hands. They did a couple of improvements here. You see what I mean? With a smokestack, see how that fell right there? The truck mode is absolutely beautiful and stunning. Absolutely G1, just like the little one. He looks exactly G1, and he does that thing that I praised and loved so much about the little one, which is where the windshields are flat. They're absolutely just flat like this and then tilted back just a little to represent the truck mode as we saw him in the cartoon. And then they're going to do that flip around thing where the windows remain the windows, but they flip and they change shape. They morph into the straight up and pointed in the center for the robot mode, exactly like we saw in the cartoon. Absolutely love that. But you can see he's done all in red. He's got like these, these are rubber tires, chrome wheels, chrome on the fingerprint magnet chrome on the on the gas tanks right there. White details here in the center, blue on the back. You can see that fifth wheel right there. The feet right there on the back. You got the tail lights there molded in and painted. You got a little vents right here molded on the back. Very, very nice. And of course, I've already gone ahead and put stickers on it because that's just the way I am. Very, very nice representation of the G1 Optimus Prime. Now, here he is with Transform Element TE01 Prime Commander. Was it Prime Commander? I thought it was Prime Commander or OP Leader. Wow. Yeah, TE01 OP Leader. The Transform Element version, which is, again, this is another like a third-party masterpiece scale Optimus Prime figure. A very fantastic figure. I have reviewed this one here before. If you're like me and are not interested in spending $500 on an MP44, these figures are absolutely must-gets for you because they're perfect. They're near perfect masterpiece Optimus Prime figures that are cartoon accurate, and they come with hitches, so they work with trailers. So there you go. So you can see what the two of them look like together. Transformation for Light of Peace is exactly almost what it was for this figure right here, with a few minor tweaks. So push the mirrors in if you haven't already naturally pushed them in yourself, and then push down the smokestacks. We're going to reach back here, grab that fifth wheel, and pull that off. And this is just mounted. It's got two tabs here, and there's a slot on the each side of the leg right there. So again, you can just swap this out depending on which trailer you have. That's about it for that. We're going to start right here at the front with the tanks right here. We're going to pull this off, and this figure has the same kind of, I want to call these like jigsaw puzzle tabs. They're not square tabs. They have angles on them, and they work the same way for the legs. And a lot of people have commented about those. They don't seem to like those. I don't really care one way or the other. They work. They're just weird. They're different. They're something new. But there you go. We're just going to pull those off. And we're not going to fold that yet. Come back here to the back of the truck. We're going to take these panels here, and we're going to lift on these. And then these are on a double hinge right there, and just kind of bring these forward. So again, bring this up, bring it forward. Now these are also tabbed, and you see there's a slot here and here. These are tabbed into these tabs here and here, so that secures the whole truck together. And we can go ahead and separate the legs right there. Pull out on the wheels. So the wheels are also tabbed, and using those same kind of tabs, and it's going to be impossible to see it on camera, but it's got a square tab there, but it's got another one of those jigsaw tabs right here. So the wheels are tabbed into this plate right here. So you want to pull out on this some just to untab them, and then this whole bottom piece here is going to start swinging out on that double hinge right there. Get it about halfway. We're going to bring the wheels, rotate them up, fold the front half of the tank in, and then this panel comes all the way forward where the wheels come all the way back. They just kind of crisscross. And once you get the wheels back here, you can fold that tank the rest of the way in. Get these lined up. Work with this double hinge right here to give yourself enough room. And you see that peg right there where this is actually spinning. This whole thing is going to push in right there. That's going to give you enough room to push the rest of the leg all the way back like that and get it all lined up in place. We'll work on the foot for the time being. We'll go ahead and bring the foot up and then rotate this piece down. This one's going to do something a little different. You'll notice that there's a double hinge there. So once you get the front of the foot straightened out, you want to bring this hinge up and then that hinge down like that. And then bring out his heel and spin the whole thing around. Finally, we're going to take this panel right here. We're going to open, there's two panels here. We're going to open these. Now there's a slot here and a tab there. So these tab in together, secured. We're going to open these up. And you can see those, kind of like those, what I'm calling the jigsaw tabs right there. That tab, and that tab there. So you're going to bring this down. The inside of the leg is going to tab into these slots here. There and there. The outside of the leg is going to tab in there, there, and there. And once and also up here. Once you've got all of that in place, bring the tank down, and that's one leg done. Finish up the foot right here. There you go. One leg done. Now we lather, rinse, and repeat on this side. So we're going to bring this up. Untap the wheels from the bottom of the truck. Bring that down. Fold half of the tank in. Crisscross this panel with that wheel. And then bring the tank the rest of the way in. Let's go ahead and get the foot out now. It might make it a little easier if you just do this now. Use this double hinge here to bring the foot up. Bring the wheels in. And again, using this double hinge right here, you can line yourself up in such a way. Maybe bringing the foot wasn't the right idea. We'll line ourselves up right there so that we can push in, again, on that post where it's spinning. Push that all the way in. That's going to allow us to bring this piece all the way back like so. Get that all lined up. Bring the foot around. Again, we're going to open these panels up. And close the leg up. Tab these panels here. Get that leg out of the way. We'll tab that there and there. We'll tab this one on all four of its tabs and slots, there and there. And then the two on the bottom. There we go. Rotate the tank around. Make sure I got the foot straight right here. And there we go. Finally, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to reach back here. This red piece is slotted into the back of the waist piece, so we're just going to pull up on that. You see that's those two slots right there where this piece was slotted into. Bring this all the way up. Rotate this piece around. And there you go. There's the bottom half of the robot. All done right there. Again, it's pretty much like it was for Light of Freedom. It's just upscaled. We'll adjust the camera there. And I may actually need to bring this whole thing up. Let's do that instead. That might work a little better. Now, let's start working on the back of the truck right here. We got these closed. We can reach in here and open these doors. And we're going to want to take the smokestacks, make sure these are all the way out. And we're going to take this panel right here. This is kind of been added on. It's got these two tabs right here where it's tabbed into or slotted into the arms right here. So you're going to pull back on this. There and there. You can see those tabs right there where that actually tabbed into these two slots right here. So we can bring this up. This was closed for the truck mode. We're going to open that to complete that piece. We're going to reach in here and get these pieces out. Rotate this around and bring it right here on the roof. We're going to take the whole roof of the truck. Get these doors open back up again. The whole roof of the truck is going to come up. So again, the roof and this bar between the two windshields, this is all going to come up. And we're going to bring this all up and over the smokestacks right there. Smokestacks are out. Okay, so the smokestacks are pushed down. Finally, take your smokestacks right here and just push those into the arms right there. That's all set. And this piece, we're just going to leave that there for the time being. Let's come right here to the arms. There is a new added tab. When I say new added, I'm comparing it to the Light of Victory, right? So I'm comparing it to its smaller version. So I'm pointing out when I say it's a new or something that's been added, it's because the transformation is the same as it was for the Legends class. This is something that's been added from that transformation. So there's a little tab right there. Just pull on that. Pull the arm out like so. And then there's a hinge here and a hinge here. Bring this whole thing out like that. Actually, before you do that, go ahead and take the windows and fold these down so that they're not in the way of the arms. And then we'll go ahead and bring the arm all the way out like so. Take this panel right here, pop this open on that hinge, bring the fist out. Easier said than done. Here we go. We'll get the fist out right there. Using this double hinge right here, we're going to bring this panel all the way forward. And while it's up, again, I added bit of transformation. This piece right here is going to fold inside there. And then we'll close that up right there. See the little tab right there? Straighten out the arm. Close this panel. Turn it so that you got the arrow on the same side as the front of the shoulder. And there's one arm done. we'll repeat over here. So again, we're just gonna pull the arm out all the way, and then we're gonna use that double hinge to bring that all the way out. Open this panel here, get the fist out. Why am I having so much trouble with the fists all of a sudden? I don't know, but there we go. Bring that, use this hinge to bring this forward while it's still up. Bring this in, bring it down the rest of the way, straighten out the arm, close that flap, and rotate so that the arrows are pointing forward. There we go. The arms are pretty much all done right there. Let's pull this all the way up. There's, let's see, am I all the way? Yeah, I am all the way up. Okay, never mind. All right, where to next? Let's go right here. The bumper and the grill is going to pull straight forward. So these are going to be tabbed into these panels with the headlight. So we want to get this as far forward as possible. There we go. Just like that. Take the panel with the headlights. We're going to rotate this to the side right there, and then we're going to take the door and flip it back behind that window, or sorry, back behind the headlight, and rotate this around. So do that again over here. We're going to rotate this out, fold the door back behind the headlight, and rotate this all the way back like so. Open the windows, pull this piece up, rotate the windows, rotate this bottom part of the bumper right there to reveal the matrix chamber, rotate the grill and the bumper up, and you see that post right there. This is all going to push right in just like that. And then we can we close these yet? We'll leave that for last. Let's reach back here. We're going to get the head, bring it up. Now the head can go down like this, or you can rotate it. I mean, it works either way. On the small figure, you didn't have to rotate it. Supposedly on the big figure, you have to rotate it, but I haven't been, and I haven't really had any problems with it. So there you go. Now, these pieces are going to rotate up like so. And again, remember that slider right there? This whole thing's going to slide up. So again, rotate this piece up and then slide the whole thing up, just like that. When we close this up, we're going to put this post right in here. And as it comes up and over, it's got, if you remember on the smaller figure, it had these tabs went into like cut slots right here. This time they've covered up the slots right there. So you can actually get that up and over. And when you slot it in on those tabs, it actually kind of covers it up a little better. Once we get all of that lined up, I am not lined up somewhere. Something's not lined up right, and I don't know what that is. You do this dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and the moment you do it in front of the camera, something's gonna go wrong. It never fails. There you go. It went in. So you'll see the slots are now in there and in there, and we're ready to bring this down, this double hinge. Bring that down like so. Back's all straight. We can close the windows, bring in the shoulders, and there we have, oh, we can open up the fists right here, just for the sake of cleaning up the figure. And there we have our light-up piece figure in robot mode, standing at approximately 10 inches long. This thing is absolutely stunning. Again, it's an upsized version of the smaller Light of Victory that we saw here last week. Just upsized to masterpiece size, and I think this thing is absolutely stunning. It's so cool to see this figure at this scale right here. And you know, minor differences done in, like, it's got the added articulation for the hands. There's a couple of small minor added steps for the transformation, just to give it a little more detail. The windows are translucent blue now instead of painted right here, but it still does that thing where the windows were flat and then tilted back for the truck mode. If you look at them now in robot mode, they're a little more straighter up and down, and then they tilt outwards and come to a point in the middle of his chest. Again, just exactly like he did in the cartoon, which I find absolutely genius, and that's just such an absolute beautiful touch that both of these figures do, that really kind of set it above all of the other figures and their specific or their individual classes. Just that little touch right there is absolutely fantastic. Going all the way around the figure. Check this out. Super, super clean figure. I don't think I've done something not right here. I don't think I'm doing something right, because this is not lining up the way it's supposed to. There we go. Now it's lined up correctly. That was weird. All right, so again, going around on the figure, super clean, no open hollow spots. That backpack is absolutely beautiful. That is perfect right there. That backpack, you don't have a lot of kibble hanging out anywhere. Nothing. It's really, really nice. Now, one of the things a lot of people have mentioned about this figure is that it feels cheap. And I don't know if I can or cannot argue with that, but I think I can explain why they say that. This figure feels light, because when you compare it with other figures of this class, typically a figure like this tends to have some die cast in the figure. This one has absolutely no die cast, so this is a light figure, but that's not to say I don't think it feels cheap. The plastic is softer than like the MP10 figure, for example, or even the Transform Element. It is a softer plastic, so it's right in line with Magic Square figures, at least with the Legends class figures that I have a personal experience with, where their plastic tends to be a little softer, a little gummier, more pliable. It's not as soft as this figure is. It's a little harder than that, but it is a softer plastic than other figures of its class. And it also has no die cast. So if you're used to handling figures like this, when you get this in your hand, yeah, it's going to feel light when in comparison. But that's not to say this is a cheap figure or a bad figure. I really don't agree with that. That opinion, that people think that this is like a cheap figure or a poorly made or cheaply made. I don't agree with that. I think the quality on this is okay, barring, of course, the issues that I brought up at the beginning of the review, that were quality issues that Magic Square did take care of. But in terms of the actual build of this, I don't think it's fair to call this like a cheap knockoff. I don't think that's fair to the figure. Again, stands approximately 10 inches tall. So it's right in scale with other Masterpiece figures. The articulation-wise, the head can go up and down, it can tilt inquisitively, and it can turn side to side. Shoulders can go forward and backwards, all the way around on a soft ratchet. They can go in and out, and they can also extend for a butterfly. Right there, you can bring them out that far if you need to for certain poses. That's there, but you can do a butterfly, so you can do like matrix opening, that kind of stuff. You have a rotation at the bicep. You have a rotation at the elbow. You have a bend at the elbow all the way there. The hands can go in and out. They can also rotate. The thumb is ball jointed at the base and hinged halfway through. And then all of the other fingers have 2 hinges individually. So those are pretty good. The waist can rotate. The legs can go forward that far. And when they do, you'll notice how the skirt moves itself inside out of the way. Now, when you bring it back down, the skirt's not going to bring itself back down. You kind of got to bring it down the rest of the way yourself. Okay? They can also move in and out. They can go back about that far. It doesn't really go far all too much. Get that straightened out again. Rotation at the thigh. Bend, double bend at the knee. So really nice. So rotation at the knee, there is not. And then the toes can wiggle up and down. So can the heels, and you got ankle tilts for wide stances. So very well articulated, very nice, very pulsable, very beautiful, beautiful figure. Let's look at the matrix chamber real quick so we can, of course, open this up. And then you've got this piece right here is going to open up, and the matrix is right there. I believe it is removable. I'm pretty sure it is removable. I don't think I have removed it. I just haven't felt the need to. So let me get my trusty little sword here. I think it's removable. Pretty sure. I'm gonna have to watch someone else's review to see if it is. Is that removable? It looks like, I mean, it's a separate piece from everything else. It has to be removable. But I'm having a hard time doing that because I think he can hold it. But anyway, I'm not going to fight with it in front of the camera. It does look like it's a separate piece. I do believe it's removable. And just because I've never taken it out It's just kind of wedged in there. It's going to take some wrestling that I am sure you're not interested in watching me do. I love the details of the matrix chamber. The way the fact that they added that panel right there to cover that up. So when the windows are closed, you're not seeing the matrix. You're actually just seeing panels in there. The way that opens up, again, that's very cartoon accurate. And those little details of those green, I'm going to call them panels right there, those light panels right there. I love that. That is just so cool. And of course, the windows have tabs. They'll tab in together right there. We'll bring in his axe, and again, all you got to do is make a fist. We'll put the thumb down, make a fist, and then he can just hold this like he would hold any other weapon. And then you can bring this piece right here. It's got two pegs, and just peg those together, and there you go. Optimus Prime with his energy axe. Very, very cool. So that's how that works, and then to remove it, you just separate the two halves and pull that out. And then finally, we'll just set that off to the side. We've got his weapon. And for his weapon, we'll just open up the fist. He does have a little slot right inside of the fist right there. We have two small tabs on the handle, so this can go on either hand. I like putting it on his right hand. And just tab that right in there. Close his fingers around it. And there you go. There's Light of Peace holding his rifle and ready for combat. Ready to light our darkest hour, I guess. There you go. I really do love this figure. This is I don't know. I want to call this I'm really conflicted. I want to say that this is like the perfect interpretation of a Masterpiece Optimus Prime, of an animated Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I really do. In terms of aesthetics, the truck mode is perfect to animation. The robot, I think, is perfect to animation. The way it transforms, again, the thing that it does with the grill and the windows to keep those true to form and to just make the windows actually morph and shapeshift, I think it's absolute brilliance. I really want to call this like the perfect masterpiece scale interpretation of the animation model that we saw for G1 Optimus Prime. It's absolutely stunning. I cannot get over this figure. It's been sitting on my desk for weeks. I can't stop looking at it. But granted, there are some QC and build issues that you're going to have to, that you need to be aware of, right? So the smokestack's coming in broken. You're going to, there's a good chance if you get one of these new, it's probably going to come with the smokestacks, but you got to know that you're going to have to do some work to it. You're going to have to do some repair work to it. In the case of mine, I also had the broken or the busted window or window frame on the door, so I had to get a replacement on that. Things like the smokestacks not holding in place or the mirrors not holding in place, where you got to do the little, in my case, clear nail polish, little things like that. So there are some build and QC issues with the figure itself. No die cast with the figure, which makes it feel light, and to some people that feels cheap, that kind of a thing. So those are just things that you need to know about and be aware of, and just something that you need to know that you're going to need to deal with that. And if you're okay dealing with that aesthetically, again, I think this is a perfect masterpiece interpretation of the animated Optimus Prime. I really do. A couple of comparisons. You've seen him a couple of times already, but since he is in robot mode, there he is with with his little brother, the Light of Victory. Again, literally the same figure, just in different scales. They're both absolutely just perfect representations of each other. I think these are the best of their class. I think they're each the best in their class. Fantastic figure right there. Here we have the previously seen Transform Element TE01 OP Leader. Again, a very, very good alternative. Again, if you're like me and you're not willing to spend $400 or $500 on an MP44, either one of these figures is a great choice. And I can't say if one is better than the other. I think they're both fantastic figures. And this one does have die cast. This one is heavier. And the transformation on this thing is just absolute brilliance. The way the legs work on this thing and the hips is so cool. So either one of these figures, absolute fantastic alternatives if you don't want to get an MP44. And then finally, just because he's here, just for fun, let's have, actually, we're going to do two more. Here he is with MP10. so you can see what the two of them look like together. And yeah, we've come a long way since MP10. MP10 was a fantastic figure and a great improvement over MP01, but we've come a long way since then. And finally, we have to do this. Just right here, in case I start to get a scratchy throat and I don't have any cough drops, here he is. I keep him on my desk for that reason. Here he is with Generation 1 Optimus Prime, so you can see what the two of them look like together. We can see where we've been. We can see where we are now. Fantastic. I absolutely adore this figure. I think this is a must get if you are an Optimus Prime collector. If you're an MP collector, I think this figure is an absolute must get. Again, some build and QC issues, things you need to be aware of that you're going to have to deal with when you get the figure, like possibly repairing a smokestack when you get it. If anything else is damaged or broken on this, like mine was, and I know Kato he had something broken, something else besides the smokestack. He had something else broken with his. Magic Square sent him a replacement piece right away. With me, I got the broken door. They sent me a replacement door right away, no question. I mean, all you do is send them pictures. Hey, look, this is how it came out of the box. Boom, they just sent you the part out. So, you may have to do a little bit of repair work on them, but I think it's totally worth it because, I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely stunning. And I think that about does it for the Magic Square MS02 Light of Peace, or a masterpiece, Optimus Prime. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.